14 AP MAcro FRQ number 3. The United States and South Korea are trading partners, and the United States has a zero current account balance. Assume now that the inflation, this obviously means that exports equals imports. Assume now that the inflation rate in the U.S. decreases relative to the inflation rate in South Korea. Based on the decrease in the inflation rate in the U.S., will U.S. exports to South Korea increase or decrease? So it looks like for the U.S., the price level is going down. Yeah. That implies that South Korea has a relatively higher price level. So if the U.S. prices are falling, doesn't that imply that South Koreans are going to want to buy U.S. goods because now they're cheaper? To do that, South Koreans have to take their won, put it in. Is that it? I can't remember how to do it. And they're going to buy U.S. dollars, and they're going to pay for those goods. Remember, the U.S. producers accept dollars, not won. So when the South Koreans put their currency into the FOREX, they're going to buy dollars. That implies that the demand for dollars will increase and the value of dollars will go up. Dollar, quantity of dollar, won to the dollar. At the same time, we know the supply of won into, sorry if I'm butchering the name, as the supply of won into the FOREX would increase, driving down the value. Quantity of won, and then dollars to won. Based on what will exports to South Korea, wouldn't they go down? If our stuff is cheaper, they want to buy our stuff. Sorry, U.S. exports to South Korea would increase because they are buying our stuff. So our exports would seem relatively cheaper. They would buy our stuff. So exports to South Korea would increase. Based on the change in the United States exports, will the U.S. current account balance remain at zero, be in surplus, or be in deficit? So we just exported a lot of stuff. Exports are now greater than imports. This is what we call a surplus in the current account. What will happen to real GDP in the U.S.? Obviously, out of C plus I plus G plus XN, which is aggregate demand. If net exports go up, aggregate demand goes up. If aggregate demand goes up, we know real GDP has to go up also. So, where are we? And they want us to explain it here. So I would take a little bit more time, I guess, than what I just did here. What will happen to real GDP? So I would want to write out, as net exports increase, aggregate demand would increase. This drives up the price level. This drives up real GDP. I guess we could have been okay just saying aggregate demand. We would have wanted to start with that net exports to explain it. But this would be unacceptable. Don't use arrows, right? Obviously write it out. The South Korean currency is the won. I hope I'm saying that right. Draw a correctly labeled graph of the foreign exchange for the U.S. dollar. Show the effect of the lower inflation rate on the price of won per dollar. So not only does this say that the value of the dollar is going up, we also have to know it as the value of the won is increasing. It's now, because our currency is appreciating and getting stronger, it takes more won to buy $1. I hope that makes sense. Okay, guys. Be safe. Bye.